Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch. Today is April 4th, and right now we are looking at an interesting view of the GOES 18 satellite. You see all this yellow down here, how it got stirred up by those winds yesterday? That's actually showing the blowing dust that was occurring out there across some of the desert areas. I know Palm Springs had it in the forecast yesterday, as well as pretty strong winds, all the way down off the coastline as well, including some of the higher terrain. So kind of a nice feature of what the GOES 18 satellite imagery can show you exactly. Now, looking at the winds today, what we're going to expect, here's the NAM 3KM. This is the 12Z run, hot off the presses. Maybe a little bit of a bump this afternoon, but definitely calmed down from what we had yesterday, although it's still going to be some fairly strong winds out there, just not quite as strong as yesterday. And as we go on into Wednesday a bit here, you notice some of these northerly winds start to kick up across areas to extreme southeast California, across some of Vegas on in through Arizona, as the high pressure kind of tries to build back in here and create some more gusty winds out here, but probably not as extreme as what we just recently had. Then looking out across Pacific here, you can see the next frontal system start to arrive here. It's going to impact Northern California first. We'll take a look at those details here in a moment. This was looking at a wider view of that pressure map here, and there's that low pressure system known as that inside slider that came down across the Intermountain West here and cast that powerful gradient. It's now in relaxation mode today, and it'll calm down a bit by tomorrow. But you see that high pressure kind of get established across some of the Great Basin here, and that's what's going to keep those northerly winds going, some gusty winds as we go on into the week here. But then the next weather maker is out here, and you can see this frontal system starting to impact Northern California into Central California here. Another round of snowfall here coming for the Sierra Nevada. Nothing too crazy right now, but we'll look at the extended forecast here in a moment as well. As you can see, additional systems are going to be floating around here off the Pacific Ocean. Looking at the European as of last night, we'll put that into motion, and you can see that next system starting to impact Northern California probably Thursday morning, and then it comes down across Central California, some of the snowfall occurring across the higher terrain there, and that's where that last night's run on the European ends, but it shows this pretty strong system out here. We'll continue to watch this day by day to see what this storm system is going to do. Now we're looking at 100-meter wind speed from the wider view. There's Hawaii again, here's California. Gradients relaxing today, but then that next system, some gusty winds possible for the California coastline here. Breezy down through the Bay Area, but nothing too crazy, not compared to what you have been getting over the last couple of months or so. And you can see that big mid-latitude cyclone developing over the Pacific Ocean here, and this would be shown Friday afternoon. Now we're looking at 850 millibar temperatures up towards 5,000 feet. You can see that cold upper level low that was moving by. If we move on into days, what is this about? Day 4 through 5 here. We start to warm up a bit across the state here, but this trough is not far away as we start to head towards mid-April, and you can see we might remain cool here through mid-April, aloft anyway, and keep that melting snow at bay at least for a time. The only concern with that here is obviously as we get further into the season, the chances for a quick warm-up start to increase, so we may just be kind of kicking the can down the road a little bit here. We have so much water stored up across the Sierra Nevada. And yeah, if you melt that down too rapidly here, you're going to exacerbate the already ongoing flooding across a lot of the area. Looking at the European on the left, the GFS on the right, Hawaiian Islands, California. There's the trough the West Coast's been dealing with here. Pushes off, then the next one comes by. This is that next system that's going to be rolling through here on Thursday morning. And then you can see maybe a bit of a ridge start to build here, but then another trough is going to settle down across the western coast of the USA. It looks like anyway. Good agreement between the GFS and the European here, but we are looking 10 days out at about this point. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, even though the signal is strong for continued troughing on across the west coast of North America through the extended forecast. Looking at total snow 10-to-1 ratio, this is yesterday afternoon's European run. Put this into motion, and you can see the next system as we go through Thursday morning starts to impact Northern California. The Siskiyou's up there. Could get some winter driving conditions across I-5. It does break some snowfall. It's just going to add to that record snowfall amount across some of the Sierra Nevada. Nothing too outrageous, though. There's some areas are showing 8+ inches here and maybe up over a foot for some of the Siskiyous in Northern California there as well. Go on a little bit further in the future, and with that arrival of that next trough as well, you can see some increased snow amounts there also. But that's looking far off into fantasy land, just kind of giving you the idea that the active weather could be continuing on in through mid-April. This is looking at snow water equivalent. We've got 90 stations reporting today, and this is 61.1, so we haven't started melting much of that snowfall across a lot of the higher terrain just yet. This is current reservoir conditions here, and we're doing pretty well across the state as far as reservoir conditions are concerned here. Many areas up towards their historical or above their historical averages across the state. This is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. You remember, if we looked at this the last couple of days, we were above average here, and now you can see that signal for the below average temperatures across the west coast here. This would be on in through mid-April. This is the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, now introduced that above average signal here for some of the west coast. And this is a nice weather station here. It's handheld, it's done by Tempest, and it does wind speed, it does temperature, dew point, relative humidity, pressure. It connects wirelessly to your smartphone. If you need a handheld one, this is really good too. You can click on the link that I'm going to put below there, and you can get this for 10% off. So make sure that's in your checkout code. And this is the home weather station I've been pushing for a couple of weeks now. This is very accurate. It stores all your data for you. It's all wireless. It's solar powered. And the readings are very good. It's been holding up quite well to some of the professional weather equipment that I use at home. The haptic rain gauge is kind of a work in progress. I should mention this, but it has smart integration where it can get information from stations around it. So if you turn that smart integration on, the rain gauge becomes much more accurate here. But it is kind of a learning process right now, and it's new technology. So it's kind of interesting to be a part of that, data collection. But anyway, yeah, pretty interesting system moving through there yesterday. Again, with that blowing dust, the GOES 18 showing its benefits there, as you can really see that blowing dust that got kicked up across some of the desert areas yesterday. But anyway, that wind should be calming down today. We do have a system that's going to impact mainly central and northern California, then the potential for troughing on into the future and perhaps turning back a little bit colder than normal here. But at least we're not looking at that dramatic warm up that we were potentially a few days ago. But we'll watch that day by day. You guys know how that forecast can change. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day out there. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.